Let's learn something more on computer networks. We begin with network protocol. Two computers should follow a set of rules when sending and receiving information with each other. That means a protocol is a way of communication between two computers, the sender and the receiver, and there should be a set of rules to be followed between the two for establishing the connection and to exchange the information. So network protocols incorporate all the processes, requirements and the constraints of initiating and accomplishing communication between computers, service routers and other network enabled devices. That means the information, when it has to go through the network, all the devices connected in a network should satisfy the set of rules, which is called network protocol. TCP/IP. This is a protocol that was developed in 1970s for ARPANET, and it is transmission control protocol, internet protocol. That is the way of communication of data or information in a wide area network, and it is a standard internet communication protocol that allows digital signals to communicate over long distances. The internet is a packet switched network in which information is broken down into small packets and sent individually over many different routes at the same time and then reassembled at the receiving end. So TCP is the component that collects and reassembles the packets of data, while the IP, that is the internet protocol, is responsible for making sure that the packets are sent to the right destination. FTP, that is the file transfer protocol. This protocol is usually used for downloading a file from the internet server, or if you want to upload a file to the server also, we make use of FTP protocol. And it is built on client-server model architecture and uses separate control and data connections between the client and server. And so it is very simple way to upload or to secure your files or to exchange your files over the internet. And the main objectives of FTP are transmitting and sharing of files, indirect or implicit use of remote computers, that is you can send or receive information to some remote computer using FTP, to shield a user from variation in file storage system among different hosts, to transfer data reliably and efficiently and use internet's TCP/IP protocol to enable the data transfer. Point-to-point protocol. As the name says, it is a communication protocol of data link layer that is used to transmit multi-protocol data between two directly connected computers. That means the two computers are directly connected to each other and they exchange their informations, which is called point-to-point protocol. And this protocol, as it is having less number of computers connected, it has very high speed. HTTP. Now HTTP is something which we see very often when we type the address of a website. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol and is mainly used to access data on a World Wide Web. And HTTP functions as a combination of FTP and SMTP, that is File Transfer Protocol and Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. And it defines how the messages are formatted and transmitted and what actions should be done by the server or the browser for exchanging the information. Something more secure of HTTP is HTTPS, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, and it is a better version of HTTP, that is The communication between your browser and website are encrypted. And so, sending confidential online transactions and all those things can be done using HTTPS. Telnet. Telnet is a remote login. That is, if you sit in one system and you can access your data from any other system. That is called Telnet, remote login. So, Telnet is one of the earliest remote login protocol on the internet. It was initially released in the early days of IP networking in 1969 and was for a long time the default way to access remote networked computers. Telnet is a remote login that helps a user to log in another user's terminal without being its original user. That means if you are sitting in a system and accessing your account, some other person in some other place can use your information in his computer using this remote login. And so this Telnet, since anybody can log in to the account from any place, this Telnet is not fully trusted. It is not fully secure also. Wireless or mobile communication protocol, the GSM protocol, which we are commonly hearing in mobile communication. And it is a standard communication protocol that was developed by European Telecommunication Standard Institute to describe the protocol for second generation digital cellular network used by mobile devices. GSM stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. Global System for Mobile Communication. Now, GPRS is a packet-based wireless communication service that promises data rate from 56 to 144 kilobits per second and continuous connection to the internet for mobile phone and computer users. GPRS and GSM are the mobile protocols that are being used extensively nowadays. WLL. WLL is Wireless Local Loop. Now, wireless local loop is something like a radio station. It is a wireless communication link for delivering plain old telephone service or internet access marketed under the term broadband to telecommunication customers. That means in a broadband connection, if there is a WLL connection, the broadband or WLL connection gets the internet connected and from that it broadcasts the internet connection to the remote subscribers within its limit. www. Again, www is World Wide Web. Very commonly it is called as a web. Is an information system where documents and other web resources are identified by Uniform Resource Locator. We shall see what is Uniform Resource Locator, which may be interlinked by hypertext and are accessible over the internet. So www is a World Wide Web where the information, you can call it as a big place where you are storing a lot of information that can be accessed from anywhere in the world. That means it is a storage space in a web that can be accessed by any system in the world. And if you need to access that information, you have to use the related protocols, that is HTTP or TCP/IP protocols for getting those information. For getting the information, your system needs a software application which is called the web browser, which can access the information through this server. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a language that is used for creating web pages, and it describes the structure, how the web page looks like, and also tells the browser how to display the content. That is, the content that you see in a web browser is actually designed using HTML. HTML. Also, it is designed using XML also. XML is a software and a hardware independent tool for storing and transporting data, whereas HTML is just a set of statements for designing the screen, where XML is something which is designing as well as storing the information and transporting it. XML is a markup language much like HTML and is designed to store and transport data. It is designed to be self-descriptive and is a W3C recommendation. W3C stands for World Wide Web. W3 is WWW, World Wide Web Consortium. It is actually a standard where the protocols are being given recognition. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. WWW is about communication between the web client and server, and the communication between client, computer and web server is done using HTTP request and receiving HTTP response. As I had told earlier, to establish a connection you need a URL and a HTTP, and using this HTTP only we are sending the messages and getting the replies. Domain name. Domain name is the address of the website that people type on the browser URL bar, and every computer on the network has a unique numeric address assigned to it. Usually it is from 0 to 255 number separated by a dot. But if you need to specify a particular website, specifying it using these numbers will be very difficult. Also, to remember these numbers is difficult, and so we map this number with the name of the server. And so instead of using this name, we make use of the domain name. And this domain name is a storage space that is given by the domain name service provider. It is actually a kind of a business where the server or the space or the storage space is given in the internet. The URL of a website is also known as its domain name, and it has and an example of some domain names are cbse.nic.in, indianrailway.gov.in, etc. And it has got some different parts also. Usually it is having more than one part. For example, if we take www.cbse.nic.in, here .in, that is the last one, in, is the primary domain name, and NIC is the subdomain of IN. CBSE is the subdomain of NIC, and www indicates the server is on World Wide Web, and that's how the whole domain name is split up. Uniform Resource Locator or URL. Now URL is, as you can see here, it is written http://www.example.com:80/path/2/myfile.html. Here if you see this kind of a address, we specify it in the address bar of our web browser to get connected to a particular page in the web. And to get the information from that particular page, we make use of this kind of address which is called the URL. And this URL, HTTP, is called the protocol. www.example.com is the domain name where the port 80 is being used, and to reach to that particular file, we need to specify the path to the file. Website, it is also written as website, separate words, is a collection of web pages and related content that is identified by a common domain name, and it is published on at least one of the server. Some examples of websites are wikipedia.org, google.com, amazon.com, and some Indian websites, something like Amazon.in and CBSE.co.in, SCRT.in. So like that, there are different websites that are available. And these web pages or websites, collectively they are called as World Wide Web. And there are some personal or private websites also available. Such websites are owned by companies, and these websites are accessible only to the employees. Hyperlinking between the web pages guides the navigation of site, which often starts from a home page. So usually your home page is the place from where you start accessing the websites. And these websites, they can be available on variety of devices such as desktop, laptop, tablets and smartphones. To access these websites, you need a software application which is called as the web browser. So what is a web browser? Web browser, as we said, is a software application for accessing information on World Wide Web. And when a user requests a web page from a particular website, the web server retrieves the necessary content from the web server and displays the page on the screen. Some web browsers, as you can see on the screen, are Opera, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox. So these are some browsers which are having search engines also along with them. So these search engines, they help us to search a particular information or a page from the website. Web browsers are used on a range of devices again, like desktop, laptop, tablets and smartphones. The most popular or mostly used browser is the Google Chrome, with 64% of global market share on all the devices, followed by Safari, which is 17%. Now, what is a web server? A web server refers to hardware or software or both of them that work together. So, as you can see from the picture also, there is a client who needs to get an information from a database that is available in the website or web server. So web server takes the role of connecting the client to the information that he needs. Now, if you say about the hardware side of the web server, it is the computer that stores the web server software and website's component files. That is the HTML documents or CSS style sheets, JavaScript files, etc. And it is connected to the internet and supports the physical data interchange with other devices that are connected to the web. And the software side of a web server includes the several parts that control how the web users access the hosted file. And it is accessed through the domain names of websites. It stores and delivers their content to the end user device. That is, the hardware part of web server stores the software as well as the component files that are required. Whereas the software side, it controls how the user will access this file, and also it stores and delivers their content to the end users. Web hosting. Web hosting means how the information that we require can be put up in the website. So web hosting is a service that allows organization and individual to post a website or web page onto the internet. Websites are hosted or stored on special computers called server. And when internet user want to view the website, all they need to do is to type the address of the domain in their web browser, and it will be connected to the particular information and it will be displayed on the browser. And most hosting companies require that you own your own domain in order to host with them. And if you do not have a domain, the hosting company will help to purchase you one. You have to pay for hosting your information or your pages to the website. Web scripting. Now, with the name scripting, script means the written part. That is, scripts are invisible to the visitor's eye, but their availability within the code of a website defines how the website behaves in response to certain click requests sent by the user. We already know that the programs or the software are running behind everything in a computer, and so each web browser, when we are using, there will be a particular script written for each click that you do in your web browser. There will be a particular script that is working behind it. And so web script is on the client side. You can say that, the web scripting means the script that is available in the website, that is a set of instruction that can be used to get information from the website or to put back the information to the website. And when scripting languages found their way to the internet world, they were divided into two parts: the client side scripting and server side scripting. Now, client side scripting means in the client's computer, we make use of the web browser to access the information. And so the web browser will have a set of instructions written on it for the client to access the internet. Such scripts are called the web scripting on the client side. They are actually the scripts that are helping the client to get the information from the website. If you want to see the client side scripting, you can click on View Source in the web browser, wherein you can see the scripting that is done for your web browser. On the server side, when a script is referred to as a server side script, it means that it is executed on the server and the visitor of the website can only see the result. So this allows for much complicated script to be used. Since the server is dedicated to their execution, it also allows the script to connect to database and use data from them while running. Some server-side scripts are PHP, Python, Perl, etc. Finally, Web 2.0. This Web 2.0 successor of Web 1.0. Actually, this Web 2.0 website, it allows the user to interact and collaborate with each other through social media dialogue. In contrast to Web 1.0, which is the first generation of web era, where people were limited to viewing the content in a passive manner. That means the information was available and you can just go through the information from that. Whereas if you want to have a talk, or if you want to exchange the information, or if you want to edit the information that is available in the internet, you have to use Web 2.0, wherein you are given the provision to make changes or may do the editing work also. The examples of Web 2.0 include the hosted services, that is the Google Map, web applications like Google Docs and Flickr, then video sharing sites like YouTube, then MediaWiki, the blogs wherein you can make changes or you can give your own instructions or you can make your own comments on it, social networking like Facebook, Twitter, then Spotify. All these things are the examples of Web 2.0. With this, we have done with all the computer networking topics, and this is not the end of it. There are a lot more things that you can learn in this field, and you can explore a lot as the time goes by. Thank you.